I got here a day after my birthday. It was October 11th. I don't have any family support, so I have to find resources within the system to help me, because I'm basically by myself. Right now, I'm packing all my belongings and I'm getting ready to move to Lotus Village.
In the early days when we first opened, I really learned firsthand how close everyone was to being homeless themselves. There wasn't a great divide between who we were going to be serving and who was already living here in Overtown.
When I started doing homelessness almost 23 years ago now, we had a little over 8,000 people living on the streets of Miami-Dade County.
Miami at one time was considered the poorest large city in the United States. Once I-95 came through, it separated the residents of Overtown from the rest of the community.
People that have found themselves in not simply a homeless condition, but a homeless condition with a lot of other things. Unfortunately, women and children oftentimes have to endure.
Women in particular with their children. They're vulnerable on the streets. I don't mean men aren't, but we all know women are much more vulnerable.
I knew that we had to find a way to shelter women who had infants or who were pregnant and homeless, because you can't leave the hospital without your baby having a place to come home to.
It's sad, because there's nothing in the system that actually helps you. And most of these people are like me, that had a rough childhood, that didn't have a mom and a dad, and now they're out of the system, they aged out, and the system says, well, here you go, figure it out. So you just gotta figure it out.
If you can't apply for a job because you don't have an address, or you don't have a phone, maybe you didn't finish high school because you were molested as a child and you ran away from home just to survive.
The day I got kicked out of my house by the police, I was so depressed that I actually felt like I wanted to commit suicide. I just felt like my life is just completely over. I thought that was the end of everything, and I just wanted to get my kids to the hospital and just go kill myself. That's literally how I felt. Within that same day, when I got to the Lotus house, they provided my children with 2 boxes of diapers. They gave me food, they gave me a bed to sleep in, and fresh blankets, fresh covers, a brand new pillow. They told me to go to sleep, and tomorrow morning we will figure everything out.
How do we together find the resources to solve those challenges? And how do we take this whole process and make it really uplifting, respectful, empowering?
We started buying property in Overtown, and we wound up with 5 buildings that needed great repair.
And of course, I didn't know anything about running a shelter, but I did know something about what it was like to struggle. The first time in your life that someone has cared about you and doesn't care about what happened in the past. Only this moment, this opportunity to begin again. I mean, to me, that is what Lotus House is about.
And then we said, look, why don't we do a new building and do a great job for these people who never had anything like this.
So welcome everyone. We're actually not going to walk to the left because it's a little bit challenging. You really are on a construction site, so please remember that and watch your feet.
This has been the crown jewel of the city of Miami because this is a comprehensive center for families to be fixed, children and women.
The building that surrounds us is our home. We call it Lotus Village now because honestly, it takes a village.
I do hope that Lotus Village becomes a model, a role model, and that other wonderful villages like this can be built.
They have set the standard for others to follow. Others to follow in our community, others to follow around our state, and others to follow around the country.
Living in Lotus House, I got a job very quickly, and it allowed me to save all my paychecks, and I was able to build up enough credit and enough stability to buy a house.
When you talk about the only provider of services to homeless women and children, they're it. They are our place where women and children can find a safe sanctuary.
Finally, here it is, right here. First, second, third, fourth floor, our children and families coming tomorrow.
If we were special when we were this big, if we were special when we were this big, think about how special it's going to be when we're this big. Think about how many more people, how many more women and children every single year we're going to be able to take in. How we're going to take them in and turn their lives around and give them the opportunity that they've been looking for.
Seeing the women and seeing how they've been brought back to society, it speaks for itself.
All the stuff that I need is here. They have a daycare. I won't have to worry about anybody getting to my child or getting in here and bothering me.
But the most important thing is to give these people dignity so they go out and make a life for themselves, so they have the freedom to become a human being after being pulled off the streets.
A program of compassion, of sensitivity, of understanding, of nurturing these women and these children back to a place where they can stand on their own 2 feet and they can be self-sustaining and they can be participants in the community, which is what they all want to do anyway.
And for Miami, this is the rebirth of Overtown. This will be the beacon in Overtown. So the miracle of Overtown will start here.
A lot of times people look down on homeless people. What we're trying to do, and we'll succeed, we will change the perception of homelessness.
The conversation should not be how little can we spend on a child that's homeless, but instead, how can we wrap around our children and families and provide the kind of support that is so deserved to ensure that they have a chance in life, that they can build the foundation for a brighter, safer future. That's what Lotus Village is about.